Ladies and gentlemen, may I present to you the one Gothic metal band that Adam Canvanner is actually comfortable with being called a Gothic metal band. This is a truly remarkable moment. Unto Others, an American gothic metal and traditional heavy metal band previously known until late last year as Idle Hands, has returned with a brand new studio album, their first with Roadrunner Records, entitled Strength. In retrospect, Unto Others' rise to being the critical and commercial heavy metal darlings that they are is nothing short of meteoric. I mean, within a remarkably small amount of time, these guys have become more or less the poster boys for modern heavy metal and gothic metal. They've managed to quite effortlessly combine the spooky and catchy old school hard rock and heavy metal of 1980s Danzig and Ozzy Osbourne with the classic goth rock atmospheres and sounds and aesthetics that I would expect from Sisters of Mercy or even The Cure. And thankfully, not only does this exact sound and presentation remain intact on Strength, but it also appears to have been emboldened not just by a larger budget courtesy of Roadrunner Records, but by Unto Others' own enthusiasm and growing confidence. Like, despite being still a relatively young metal band, these guys know exactly what kind of music they want to make and exactly how they want to make it, resulting in a slew of infectious and occasionally tragic tunes that are overflowing with sincerity, attitude, and conviction. Take, for instance, the three promo singles released ahead of time, Downtown, When Will God's Work Be Done, and No Children Laughing Now. They're dark, they're brooding, they're incredibly entertaining. When Will God's Work Be Done, in particular, has been lodged in my brain for weeks now, like a crown in Homer Simpson's brain. It is a stellar number. No Children Laughing Now is pretty interesting too, as you have some pretty potent black metal flavor coming in right around the middle of the track. I mean, it doesn't go full-blown Mayhem or Watain or Behemoth, but there are some pretty sinister and deliciously evil kind of tremolo riffs that would not be out of place on a more modern Tribulation album. And that is not the last moment of extreme metal buffoonery and influence you will find on this record. In fact, Strength opens on perhaps its heaviest and most devastating cut, Heroin. On top of the very provocative subject matter, the track sports some very burly metallic riffs, some very abrasive shouting and snarling and grunting, and a guitar solo that, honest to God, feels like it could have been ripped from like a classic Megadeth or even a Slayer record. It's an incredibly chaotic, disturbing, and genuinely even brutal cut. It feels as if the drug heroin has been reintroduced to us in sonic form. A bold choice to open the album with. No arguing otherwise. You've also got tracks like Summer Lightning and Why, which place a larger emphasis on classic goth rock melodrama and flair. They are very emotive and very engaging as a result. You've got a pretty strong cover of Hell is for Children, originally from Pat Benatar, which the band successfully transforms into kind of this ripping, old-school 80s metal banger. And speaking of 80s metal, Unto Others even appear comfortable diving into some more tongue-in-cheek, classic 80s metal and rock territory with a cut like Destiny, a deliciously cheesy and over-the-top number filled to the brim with synthesizers and bold guitar work and samples of a crying bald eagle. How much more badass and corny can you possibly get than that, ladies and gentlemen? I am unironically getting some pretty strong David Hasselhoff True Survivor vibes from this. It is just a deliciously cheesy number. Like, we're talking cheese dripping off the fucking side. I am covered in smoked cheddar right now. It is unreal. Scorching hot, too. Now, there are a couple songs that I thought were maybe just a little bit weaker, a little bit less impressive, those being Instinct and Little Bird. They're by no means incompetent, they're just nowhere near as engaging as some of the other material we've mentioned. But aside from that, this is a pretty strong album from start to finish. I would argue that Mana is perhaps a touch stronger, and I would also argue that there's still nothing on this album that comes close to the near cosmic height of songs like Jackie or Give Me to the Night, but all things considered, Strength is a remarkably fun, a remarkably dark, and a remarkably solid offering. I would give this a very, 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 very enthusiastic 3.5 out of 5. The only other thing holding me back would be maybe the production. There's just something that feels a little bit more robotic and artificial about this album in comparison to Mana, but not to the point where I'm not still enjoying a lot of the material on here. And there's no doubt in my mind that anyone who loved Mana and anyone who's been following Unto Others over the course of these past few years is gonna love this album for sure. In fact, I can picture this topping some best of the year lists when December rolls around. I would say too, if you're a metalhead looking for a strong gateway into gothic rock and gothic metal, particularly like the classic stuff, then this is a great record to check out, because as I mentioned in the very beginning, this is kind of a perfect fusion of these two worlds, without dipping its toes too far into one or the other, without being too melodramatic or too heavy and too distracting. What more can I say, folks? It's just a fucking fun record. And in a week filled with incredibly divisive, high-concept music from Sleep Token and Rivers of Nile, I think fun is exactly what I fucking need right now. And I think it's what you fucking need right now, too. So, 3.5 out of 5, an extremely, insanely enthusiastic one at that. Definitely check this out. And that is it for the Metal Meltdown. I'm not an expert, nor do I claim to be, so what do you think? Do you like this record? Do you not like this record? And what do you want to hear from me next? And thank you for watching. Make sure you press subscribe so you can get updates on the Metal Meltdown fucking immediately in case you somehow aren't already. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, you have yourself a fantastic fucking day.